You're watching NBA Now here on Chat Sports. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. with you. And we're going to go live for the NBA Draft here in just a few hours, 6:30 Eastern, so subscribe and join us. But we've already got some draft news. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN reports that the Detroit Pistons will take Cade Cunningham with the #1 overall pick, the guard/forward out of Oklahoma State. A couple of tweets on this. ESPN sources saying that he will go #1. Also added this: Detroit officials traveled to New York on Wednesday, met with Cunningham a first time, and finalized on a decision to choose him at #1. So, Chase, we have the #1 pick. Even if it's not official, it will be Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, and there's been so much discussion, Harrison, about this over the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks. I know for the mock drafts that I've done on Chat Sports, I've mocked Cade Cunningham to the Pistons at #1. Why is that? I think it's the smartest selection. So many times, front office executives in all professional sports overthink things. They have a surefire prospect who has a lot of potential right there on the board. Instead, they pivot and go with a guy with potential. Not only does Cade Cunningham have potential, I think he's able to help this Pistons franchise right away. When I scout him, when I watch him, I really don't see a flaw in his game. He does everything well. He scores at all three levels. He's a really good passer, excellent size at 6'7", 6'8". In the open floor, this guy can be a marvelous creator and disher. He can score with his back to the basket. He can hit step-back threes. And because of his well-rounded game, Harrison, that's why I think you can build your franchise around him. And as we know, the Pistons are atop the NBA draft board because they don't have a bevy of talent on that roster. You take Cade, this is the smart pick at #1, and you build around him to kind of build that franchise back up to where they were in that 2004 range when, Harrison, we were talking about it the other day, they were one of the best and most successful NBA franchises in the league.
Yeah, more analysis on this pick in just a second, as Cade Cunningham is apparently going to go #1 to the Detroit Pistons. Grade the pick for us. What do you guys think? A, B, C, D, or F? How do you guys feel about Detroit landing on Cade Cunningham with the #1 overall pick? We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with the YouTube ad break, scroll on down, get your grade in, scroll back up, and the video will be back and playing. So Cade Cunningham to the Detroit Pistons at #1 overall. That will become official tonight, of course. Chase, I've watched Cunningham quite a bit in the Big 12, obviously. This is a 6'7" kid, 220 pounds. He's long. These are what modern-day point guards look like, Chase.
Yeah.
You see guys like Luka Doncic, LaMelo Ball, these 6'7", 6'8" guys who can handle, shoot, see the floor very, very well. I wouldn't say Cunningham's vision and passing ability is on those two guys' level, but he can play point guard in the NBA at a very, very high level, and he can absolutely fill it up in terms of scoring the basketball.
Here's the thing, too. Look, his brother took the assistant coaching job at Oklahoma State. That's a big reason why he went there. But when you look at his supporting cast last year, it's not like he was playing with a bunch of NBA prospects, right? So many times his passes did not lead to buckets, which is why the assist number is down. But the raw eye test will tell you that Cade Cunningham is a very good passer.
Yeah.
And because of that size at 6'8", how he moves so fluidly in transition, how he's able to pass with his back to the basket and also operate in the half court, because of that size and passing ability, it does remind me just a little bit of Ben Simmons. But unlike Simmons, he's not allergic to shooting the basketball. This is a guy who's a bona fide scorer. He's not going to be a Jalen Green type of athlete with pogo sticks as legs, who jumps out of the building and wows you in terms of his athletic traits, because he's not the most explosive guy. But he is a consistent, smooth-moving athlete who at 6'7", 220 pounds is going to be one of the better athletes on the floor because of that size. I just love his overall qualities. I love his confidence. I like how he carries himself. And here's one thing that you really just can't teach. It's the clutch gene late in games.
Yep.
And it goes back to my original point of Oklahoma State not just really having a lot of talent around Cade Cunningham. Because of that, he was forced to take a lot of critical shots in critical moments late in games, and oftentimes he was able to succeed in those situations. You know what the Pistons are going to ask him to do? They're going to give him the keys and allow him to just operate the offense and be that go-to guy down the stretch in games.
Shooting 40% from three in college
Elite.
when you're the only good player on your team, basically, that's very, very impressive. By the way, like I mentioned, draft just a few hours away. We will be live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight. The draft will start at 8 o'clock Eastern, but we're not like those other lazy networks who go live 10 minutes before the draft starts. We give you 90 minutes of build-up and analysis leading up to that 8 o'clock start time. So join us at 6:30. Subscribe. You see the link below. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. Myself, Chase Sr., the entire Chat Sports team is ready to rock here on draft night for the NBA draft. So join us. Don't miss any of our coverage because we will break down all 60 of the picks, including once Cade Cunningham becomes 100% official here in several hours. So Cade's going number 1. Now the focus, Chase, for the next 5-6 hours for teams picking 2 through 5 is, okay, who goes number 2? What do the Rockets do with the number 2 pick? This is your kind of your best available after Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, after Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green was kind of right on his heels for me as the number 2 prospect in this draft class. Has flashes scoring-wise and athletically of guys like Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal. He can really get to any place on the floor and get a shot up anywhere on the floor. So I think he's the logical pick for the Rockets at number 2, and I think that's what's going to come to fruition because they need a scoring option who's going to be able to fill it up in a hurry. After that, I just love Jalen Suggs. I can't get past his skill set offensively and defensively, but also the maturity and leadership qualities that he possesses. Evan Mobley is there after that for me. A complete modern-day big man who's going to be able to guard all 5 positions. As long as he continues to develop his outside shot, he hit 12 threes last year at USC. This guy could end up being the best prospect in this draft class if he's able to round out that offensive game. I worry about him in this way. He's somewhat timid. I'm not sure he has the dog in him that a guy like Jalen Suggs or Jalen Green or Cade Cunningham has, but the athletic qualities are there as well as the overall skill set. So I think that's how the top of the draft is going to fall after Cade Cunningham. I think it's going to be Jalen Green at 2. I think it's going to be Evan Mobley at 3. I think it's going to be Jalen Suggs at 4 and Scotty Barnes at 5.
Be very interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, some of the top prospects after those guys. You got Davion Mitchell, a two-way guard that you're very high on out of Baylor. Great defender, really matured offensively last year. You just mentioned Scotty Barnes. James Bouknight, I know, is also a guy you're very high on, as is Moses Moody.
Yeah, James Bouknight is a better defender than a guy like Lou Williams, but offensively reminds me of a guy like Lou Williams because he can come off the bench, I think, immediately at the NBA level and just get you buckets. And then Moses Moody is a classic 3-and-D guy. And over the last couple of years, Harrison, we've seen these 3-and-D players just possess so much value because in the modern day NBA, if you can hit threes, you can defend, and you're above average in terms of your athletic qualities, you're going to be a really good player for a long time and be able to contribute.
Today's NBA, you find a couple of stars and then put 3-and-D guys around.
That's it.
That is how you win. And obviously the Pistons are hoping Cade Cunningham is one of those stars as they start to rebuild and really build toward the future. So Cade Cunningham, going to go number 1 to the Detroit Pistons. Who should go number 2 overall? We believe it's down to these 3 guys for the Houston Rockets. Jalen Green, type G. If you think it's going to be Evan Mobley, you can go ahead and type your M. If you think it'll be Jalen Suggs, type your S. Real quick, Chase, gut feeling, who goes number 2?
Jalen Green. I think it's almost a lock that he goes to the Rockets at number 2.
Jalen Green is our answer. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. And one final time, hey, Cade Cunningham, I think, Chase, you and I were on the same page. While Green and Mobley had strong pre-draft workouts and combines and all that stuff, he was the guy from the beginning. He's the no-brainer pick. I think teams overthink things sometimes. Just take the guy that scored 20 points in college and carried a team to the NCAA tournament that was otherwise filled with just okay players. Cade Cunningham going to be your number 1 pick this year to the Detroit Pistons.